Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make Vector's Fortress from the movie Despicable Me. This may be a little bit smaller than what you were expecting. However, I wanted to make a version of this that would actually be easy to build and not give you a headache. If you enjoy this video, please do remember to hit that like button. I'd really appreciate that. It helps me and the channel out greatly. And that's pretty much everything. Let's get started. So to make this, all we need is a 33 block by a 34 block area. 33 blocks left to right and about 34 blocks front to back. We also need all of these materials that I have in my hotbar right now. This is all we need. I don't think we need anything else. So just make sure that you have all of these materials. Make sure you got enough room to make this thing, and then we can get started. So let's say that you yourself have made this grid in your world because you want to have an easy time with this. You're better planning out where you want it to be. Well, you're going to want to start off on the front left hand corner of the grid that you've made, if you've made it, and you want to count to the right by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So on this block, you then want to move inwards by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Perfect. And on top of this block, I want you to place 2 yellow concrete. 1, 2. You see, the reason that we did this is so that we're now building in the same place if you did make the grid. That's the reason that we went through all that. Anyway, on top of the second yellow concrete, place a white concrete. Then, place 2 white concrete going right. 1, 2. The next block is going to be a door, which I believe we will have to actually place blocks underneath on. So you might have to place 2 blocks underneath this, but the next block wants to be a door. We then want to place 3 white concrete going right. 1, 2, 3, like this. We then want to place 2 diagonal white blocks going right and backwards. So 1, 2, like this. We then want to move backwards by the second diagonal. We want to go back by 6. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We then want to place 2 blocks coming backwards and to the right from this. So that's 1, 2, just like that. Then move right by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then take that 6th block and you want to move forwards and to the right again by 2. So that's 1, 2. We then want to move right by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then join back to the start of this by placing a block diagonally like this. So essentially what you're after basically is like this circular shape right here that I'm sure that you guys will be able to do without too much trouble. Well, anyway, once you do have this circular shape, you want to add 4 additional layers of white concrete on top of this. So every single white concrete block, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this wants to be apparent on top of every single white concrete block. And you also want to do the same thing on top of the door, by the way. Don't leave that space empty, that'd be a little bit weird. So just completely fill in the space above the door. And what we're making here is, I think of this house as, it kind of reminds me of like a big mushroom. And we're just building like the base of the mushroom. Don't ask me why I think about that. It just kind of looks like a big giant white mushroom to me. I mean, am I the only one that's thought that? Probably not. I can't be the only one. So, anyway, the fact of the matter is that we want to increase the size of this by 4 on top of all of the base white blocks until eventually you have something which should look like this, which is pretty good. Now, once you do have that, we are going to build the top part of the mushroom of the house. And you want to do this by coming to the left-hand side specifically, and you can take any one of these 7 blocks on the left-hand side, the top part, and you want to place a white concrete block up diagonally to the left of one of the 7, like that. You then want to go left by 2 of that block. You want to go 1, 2, just like that. You then want to go up on top of the most outer block, the second block there. You want to go up by 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. You then want to do an up right diagonal, place 1 on top, do 2 upright diagonals, 1, 2, go right by 1, do an upright diagonal, and go right by 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then do a bottom right diagonal, go right by 1. Then do 2 bottom right diagonals, that's 1 and 2. And go down 1. Do a bottom right diagonal and go down by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then go left by 2 as to connect back to the inside of the shape. So that's essentially what we want to have right there. Again, it looks like a mushroom. I specifically see the Mario mushroom right there. I'm not the only person. I can't be. Anyway, once you have done that, we then want to take the shape that we've just made, this big giant like mushroom head, and we want to extend it backwards by 6 rows, basically just to cover the long row of 6 that we have on the side. So it'll look like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and that wants to be all of the blocks. So this should actually take quite a while to do, because we're going back by 6 rows absolutely everywhere, and it is kind of a little bit awkward as well. So do make sure that you extend every single block that you have to, which is every single one, so I'm sure that you won't mess that up. And once we have done this, we will shape the top of the fortress, which is going to be very, very easy as well. As a matter of fact, the entire build, I would say, is incredibly easy to make and quite intuitive. So I'm hoping that you guys do find this very, very easy to do. That was the entire point, and that is why I wanted to keep it to a bit of a smaller scale, because it would be easy to make a very, very large version of this. And it would be cool to have like a huge version, but you don't always have to all the time just absolutely stretch it to the limits, because otherwise you'll drive yourself crazy like doing these sorts of parts of a tutorial. Like, can you imagine doing this if this build was like 4 times bigger? Kind of drives you insane. Anyway, that's what you want to have on the back of the build. So you've stretched it all, and it is now as, wide as that row of 7 that we have on the left and the right hand side. That's what we're after. Okay, next thing, we're going to add the detail that we spoke about. So, on the front of the build, on the left, you are looking for this block. It's actually the block next to the block that we started like building up from. Well, this block here, you want to place a white concrete in front of it. You then want to place, on top of this, you want to go up by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You then want to do an upright diagonal, go up 1, do an upright diagonal, go right 1, do an upright diagonal, go right by 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, do a bottom right diagonal, go right 1, do a bottom right diagonal, go down 1, do a bottom right diagonal, and go down by 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you should end up with a shape that should look exactly like that. Okay, easy enough. Once you've done that, it now gets easier, because we then want to take this very first block that we placed, which is this one, you guys will remember, in front of and to the right, place an additional white concrete block, so in front to the right. And now what we want to do is we want to take this white concrete and we want to go around the inside of the shape that we have just made, and we want to connect all of the blocks together at the corners. This every single time it reminds me of playing that old school game Snake. You know, where you basically that white line and you've just got to go all the way around, making sure you don't touch yourself, and you grab all the apples. That's pretty much the exact same thing. That's what you want to do. Easy enough. And once you have done that once, we actually want to do this 3 additional times. So we begin at the start again, and in front of and to the right, we want to place a white concrete, and then that white concrete wants to snake around the inside of the shape that we have just made. It is as easy as that. Just go all the way around the inside of the shape. You want to make it connect together at the corners because we are looking for a shape in particular. If you knock off the corners, it looks a little bit weird, a little bit boring. So that's what you want to do. You've done that twice now, which means that we've got to do this 2 more times. So once again, you start from the beginning. In front of and to the right, you place the white concrete, and then you just go around the inside of the shape. And yeah, it looks exactly like this. I don't know what else to tell you. It's very easy to do, and you'll end up with the same result that you have a few times already. Now, here's the difference with this next one. This next one is a little bit different. What I want you to do, you see this single block up at the top of the build, this empty one? Fill that in. Just, you know, fill that in. And then this next layer of white concrete, we want to add a row of white concrete that perfectly fits the shape that we have the empty space. We want to place a layer of white concrete that just sits in front of this empty space. That's all you want to do. Just 1 row in front. You just want to fill in the empty space like that. Easy as that, ladies and gentlemen. Easy as that. That's all you want to do, pretty much. The next job that we also want to do is we just want to fill in underneath the expansion that we've just done. Make sure that there's no gaps in the house and just fill it in using white concrete. There's pretty much nothing else to it other than that. We'll also have to do this once more when we do the back. The back, by the way, identical to the front in the terms of how we're doing it. So there you go, that's the front. Doesn't that look a bit impressive? And do you not see the mushroom from Mario? I'm going to bring this up every single time. Grab your yellow concrete. We'll place the V here. So grab your yellow concrete and come all the way up to the top middle of the build. It's this block. It should be fairly easy to see. If you're having trouble, find the door, follow it up. That's the middle block. Place a yellow concrete in this position right here. And then place a yellow concrete in front of that. Extend the yellow concrete down. Take the yellow concrete that you extend down from, and you want to go left of it, up, left, up, like that. However, you also want to go right, up. Perfect. That's what you want to do. And then we take every single one of these blocks right here, and you just want to extend them 1 row backwards, like this. It doesn't really have to come any further back than that. And there you will have your V for vector. Easy enough. So once you've done that, I think that we'll also do the entrance too, whilst we are down here. Give ourselves a little bit of break from the mushroom building. And we want to... I'm so obsessed with this whole mushroom thing, I don't know why. We then want to, going left of the door, right? There's like another V like above the door. I'm obsessed with V's, he really is. Well, anyway, you want to, around the door, you want to place block of quartz left of the door, right of the door. Extend those blocks of quartz upwards, each by 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. And then you want to place 2 blocks of quartz, 1 block of quartz coming outwards from each of those second quartz. So like the top ones you want to go left, the top 2, and the right ones you want to go right, like that. So it kind of looks like a music symbol. You then want to extend up the corner blocks, the ones on the corners, and you want to go up and outwards from them. And on this one too, up and out. So you want to have this sort of shape, which you can see it's kind of like a rudimentary V. Then you use your stairs, and you want to place stairs upside down and outwards facing underneath this block specifically, and this block, like that. And you want to do the same on the opposite side here too, so you want to place an upside down stair here, and here, just like that. And then you can also place a sideways one here and here. And you have almost just about got your V. That kind of looks like a broken love heart at the moment. Grab yourself the quartz slabs. And half a row above the door, half a row above, place a quartz slab. Then one on top. And that is that, ladies and gentlemen. That is the entrance to the Vector Fortress, which I did do the inside of, by the way. I did a little bit of inside. I basically put his like sofa in there, which is kind of cool. But I guess I didn't show you that at the start of the video. Anyway, that's what you want to have so far. That is the entrance. Now, let's do the rest of the top of the fortress. Okay, so we're going to grab our white concrete. We'll come into the back of the build, and we are looking for this block specifically here on the left. You guys will find it, no problem. This one right here. I'll give you a second. Alright, this block you want to place a white concrete in front of. And then you want to go up on top of this white concrete by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then do an upright diagonal and go up 1. Then do an upright diagonal, go right 1. Do an upright diagonal, go right by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then do a bottom right diagonal, go right. Bottom right diagonal, go down. Bottom right diagonal, go down by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to reach the bottom, which will leave us with a shape that should look exactly like this. You guys are very familiar with this. What do we have to do next? Well, what do? We start from the first block that we just placed here in this sequence, and in front of and to the right of that, we place a white concrete, and then we play snake, which means that we want to go all the way around the inside of this, connecting the blocks together at the corners, and we want to slowly and gradually and very caringly shape the Vector Fortress on the top. So, same thing that we did on the front, we want to add a layer of white that looks exactly like this. Now, we want to do this 3 more times, so let's do it. So once more, we start from the start, in front of, to the right, and then we play snake. That's what I'm going to call it, plain snake, because we just go all the way around the inside like this, connecting together at the corners. All that's missing is an apple for us to collect so that the row gets bigger. I wonder if you got... Anyway, that is what you want to have right there. Do people even play Snake anymore? I love that game. So classic. Anyway, that's what you want to have. 2 more times, we want to do that. So, again, in front of and to the right, white concrete, and then we want to go up and around the inside of the shape, carefully connecting the corners together. And this is the second to last row, by the way, which is the last row that we're actually making in this manner, because once we hit this point right here, in which we have this shape where it's kind of like all pointy at the top, you want to add an additional white concrete here to smooth out the shape, and then we want to fill in this empty space 1 row towards us like this, and we only want to create a shape that would fit inside of this empty space. Imagine like you're doing a jigsaw puzzle. It doesn't want to be any more, it doesn't want to be any less, and that is what you will end up with, ladies and gentlemen. Very cool. All we then want to do is fill in the base of the dome. I'll call it a dome. You want to fill in the base of the dome using white concrete like this, because we don't want to have any sorts of gaps in it whatsoever. Just like this. Boom. And we will end up with something that should look exactly like that, which is perfect if you ask me. Now, next thing we want to do, we forgot a material. I cannot believe that we actually forgot one. I'm blaming you guys as well. This is also your fault. Not really. It's mine. Okay, the material we need is a light grey block. It could be light grey concrete. It could be, you could use stone. You could use cyan terracotta. I can't believe I forgot this. There's literally less than a hot bar's worth of materials and I forgot one. I'm so sorry. Once you have your light grey concrete, or whatever it is you're using, you want to come to the entrance of the house, because we're going to build the area around it now, okay? So we want to place a light grey concrete underneath these 2 quartz blocks underneath the entrance. We want to place a light grey concrete here and join them together, just like that. We then want to place 3 rows of light grey concrete in front of this, like 1, 2, 3, like this. Now on the ground, in front of what we've just made, we want to place 3 more rows. So like 1, 2, 3, like that. Do you guys get it? So we connected it together under the doors, extended 3 rows, and then on the ground, 3 additional rows. What we then want to do is digging into the floor. We want to dig 1, 2, 3 more rows, and those want to be light grey concrete as well. So we have this sort of shape. Okay, let's build up the grass area around this build. It's actually so easy, but repetitive. So the way that you do it is this. Grab your green concrete, or add any sort of green block actually kind of looks good. Lime terracotta also works. I mean, guess green terracotta, but it's kind of ugly. You could even use lime concrete if you're trying to burn your eyes a little bit. Maybe even some green concrete as we have it. Use any green block. So you want to begin from the very first row of light grey concrete that we placed under the door. And using green concrete, playing snake, you want to place a layer of green concrete going all the way around the outside of the base of the fortress. You get it? You just connect it all the way around together at the corners like this, and you will reach the other side of the build. So you'll have something which should look like this. And I'm sure that you guys will manage to do that no problem. So it's all nice and circular. We then want to do the same thing. So once you've done that once, right, you do it again. So you go all the way around the outside of the build and you connect a row of green concrete or green blocks together at the corners going all the way around in this fashion. Like this. So you go all the way around and it will connect to the opposite side once again. So now we have 2 rows and it is very nice and circular. We're going to do this 2 more times, okay? So we'll do this once more, and we'll take it one step at a time. We're going to do it once more. Just make sure that you go all the way around it. This would actually be easier to display if we were using 2 different colors, because then you'd actually be able to see them going, like, connecting together around each other, rather than just one lump of green. But it should be fairly easy to do anyway. And then one more time, and you'll notice this very cleverly fits around the path as well. You want to add another row of green, just going all the way around. And this will coincide with the path. You see, we're actually going to be doing this quite a lot more. We're going to be doing this probably about 6 more times, and we're gradually going to reach the bottom, because the fortress itself is kind of like built on a grass verge. So you guys will see what I mean anyway. So that is what we want to have so far, right? Now once you have done 4 layers of green going all the way around, you now want to take the ends of the path again. We're just following the path down, right? That's all we're doing. And you want to take this part of the path, and you want to, on the ground this time, place a row of green concrete that goes all the way around the inside and connects together in the corners as well. That's all you gotta do. It's really that easy. It honestly is. So you just want to connect all the way around together like this until you connect to the opposite part of the path. And you slowly graduate down, which is the cool thing. So we then want to do this again. We want to place another layer in front. And we'll be doing it one more time at this particular altitude, because then what we will then have to do, which is annoying, I forgot about this part, is we will be digging into the ground once we have exhausted this part of the path. And by exhausted this part of the path, you'll notice, as I said, the grass coincides with the path. So once you've added a second layer, we're doing one final layer going all the way around the outside, and then we are going to have to dig out the path. And that's actually where you'll be able to see how this works actually once we do start having to dig into the ground. But yeah, as we've been doing many times already, you guys have mastered this by now, I guarantee it. You just want to go all the way around, connect to that part of the path like this. And then next thing we want to do is we want to do the same thing, right? Except this time it's in the ground. That's the difference. So you want to dig into the ground the shape that we want to fill in. So we're digging into the ground, essentially the same shape that we have made many times already, but then we're going to fill in. So we're actually going to do it one layer at a time, just to make it easy, because it's easy to slip up on this part. I actually, when I first designed this, I really made a whole mess of the whole circle thing when I started filling in the ground. So again, like, you just go all the way around, and then you add in the layer, and we're doing it 2 more times after this. You know what's kind of annoying about this as well? Just talking about things that bother me today, I guess, is the fact as you progress, as you get further and further into it, as you start making more and more progress, it gets harder because it slowly gets bigger, which is really annoying. So like, you're like, oh, I've not got much left to do. Oh wait, yes I do, because it keeps getting worse and worse. But yeah, we're going to do it again, once again, 2 more times. And you guys might have noticed there is a wall around the fortress. Vector himself is a very, very creative individual. Likes to use mechanical sharks and such to defend his property, which I kind of wish I added to this tutorial, kind of like a little mechanical shark or something. I wish I was actually good at redstone so that I could add some like jump scares and stuff and some traps, but he has a wall, is what I'm getting at. There's a big giant wall around his house fortress, which is very easy to make as well. So once again, we're just adding in the layer of green, and we have 1 more to do after this. And as I pointed out, if it feels as though this is getting harder and harder and longer, it's because it is. It really is. It does get worse and worse. So just, you know, keep layering on the the green concrete, and you should be perfectly fine. But the walls themselves actually fit perfectly around the shape that we're making. It fits very, very snugly around the shape, and we will very easily be able to add it without causing too many problems. I have literally tried my best to make this as easy to make as possible. Now, I am very sorry if you... Oh, this is going to present a problem where we're now at the boundaries, which is the same color as the grass, but I think that will be fine. Yeah, I have tried to make it as easy as possible to make, as I do with all of my stuff, but this one in particular, I was thinking to myself, like, how can I make it as simple as possible with as little errors that anybody could ever make as possible, and I figured that this is probably just about it. Yeah, unfortunately, we do have the same color wall as the boundary, which is actually really, really annoying, and I think I might actually solve the problem first before we move on to the wall, because it might get a little bit confusing otherwise. Alright, so let's take a look at this once we're done. I guess green concrete was the worst material that I could use. So we want to have something which should look exactly like that. So you can see that we have a nice green area around the actual fortress. That's all of the grass. I'm gonna do everybody a favor because I think it will be easier. I'm going to get rid of the grid itself, right? I'm gonna get rid of the grid itself, and then we can move on to the next part because it interferes with the grass quite a bit. There we are. I think that's a little bit better. Now we can actually see what we're working with. Okay, so next order of business is the walls, as I might have mentioned. So let's talk about this. I think actually the first thing we'll do is we'll make the gate. So the gate's quite easy to make. We take the end of the path at the middle of the end of the fortress like this. This is the end of the path, and in front of the path we want to place a row of block of quartz like that, because the gate is block of quartz like this. And on top of the row of block of quartz we want to add 2 additional rows. So that'll look like 1 and then 2, just like that. You then want to extend the middle block upwards and place quartz stairs either side, like that. You then want to place a V shape. So you take the middle of the wall here, you place yellow concrete, then 1 up left diagonally, 1 up right diagonally, like that. Easy enough. Okay, next thing we want to do is make the wall. So we grab white concrete, and we want to place a row of white concrete that extends from the base of the gate all the way around the grass area that we have created. So once again, using that technique to snake around the outside of the grass, we want to place the white concrete. And that has pretty much been the entirety of the build, right? I mean, we've been using and expressing this technique to make pretty much the entire fortress, which is really cool if you think about it. I mean, you know, if you can make one part, all of the rest of it is incredibly simple. So you will, at a certain point, connect back to the gate like this, and you'll end up with something that should look exactly like that, which is really good. And then all we have to do is add 2 additional layers of white concrete on top of that, or as high as you would like the wall to be. I am only making my wall about 3 blocks high, so you can make yours bigger if you want, but a 3 block high wall actually scales a little bit better with the build, meaning that a wall that is bigger would look a little bit more out of place, because the walls aren't actually that huge in comparison to the fortress itself. The fortress is rather large, and the walls in comparison not so much. So we're going to add 2 layers of white concrete on top. Then we're going to bolster the gate a little bit by adding some quartz blocks around it, and then we'll be pretty much done. We really have cracked on with this build. There really isn't a lot left, unless you wanted to do the interior, which there's quite a bit of space for inside. You'll at the very least be able to add a couple of basics in there, because it is quite a large build. But it certainly just makes a statement in your world having something like this. I think it's definitely, I don't think you missed this in many people's worlds. So that's what we want to have so far. Now, around the gate, it's very simple. You basically want to wrap a row of block of quartz around the sides of the gate. So like left and right of the gate, you want to wrap a row of block of quartz going all the way around the wall, like this. You then want to add another row of block of quartz onto the side of it, like this. You then want to add a row of quartz slabs on top of it, and that's what you want to have. I might actually experiment with just having a single row of block of quartz. So, block of quartz, you wrap it around the part of the wall next to the gate, and then you add a row of quartz slabs on top, and that's all you do. You know what, guys? I actually might like it better with the single row. You can, of course, do whatever you want, but I think I'm going with the single row of block of quartz, because I actually think I like that better. I never tried it. Yeah, I actually kind of like that a little bit more, right? I mean, it looks a little bit more, a little bit smoother. It looks a little bit better. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, whether you realise it or not, that is Vector's Fortress complete. I do hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, please do remember to hit that like button. I'd really appreciate that. It helps me out so much, it honestly does. It's such a great help when you hit that like. If you have enjoyed the content, if you think you'd like to keep up to date, hit that subscribe button and click the little bell next to the subscription button to ensure that you get all my stuff sent directly to your sub box. And if you would like to make any more things by me, I would highly recommend checking out the card system and the description below for my cartoon builds playlist, whether it be Mickey Mouse related, SpongeBob related, Simpsons, Captain Underpants. We have a great variety of builds. We have so many. All I can tell you is to head to the card system and the description below, and you'll find so many things that you'd really enjoy in there. Even some more Despicable Me builds. I've actually made Grus's house and his car, which are really cool, by the way. There's card system description below. Thank you so much for checking those out if you do, because there's so much cool stuff in there. And that is all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you so much. And I'll catch you guys in the next video, hopefully. Goodbye!